Hope you're doing well. It's been a while since I made a video. I've been it's been it's been tough lately for me personally. I've been dealing with a lot of tough emotions coming up to the surface, kind of feeling frustrated and annoyed a little bit. There's a sense of like injustice, the way the world um treats everyone, or the way the world not the way the world treats everyone, but the way the world is set up and the way everyone is being treated and kind of gaslit into um, seeing reality in a certain way. That's been coming to the surface. There's that sense of like, I feel a really strong connection to Archangel Michael, and he's basically like he's about justice and order and, um, you know, balancing the scales of injustice. Like, he's about breaking down evil structures, stuff like that. He's like got that warrior spirit. I just feel that coming out so strongly lately. And it's like I get pissed off about um the way the people that run the world treat us and put us in this matrix, this box that tries to contain us, contain our spirits, and to whittle us down over time. And yeah, it pisses me off. It really does. It gets like a fire within me. And yeah, I've been feeling that. So I've been feeling kind of angry, annoyed. But also like a lot of stuff from the past coming up, like usual, I guess. I've been feeling like super tired though, not really motivated to make videos. I don't know. Just feeling a little down lately, so I haven't been making videos. But that's something I want to touch upon is the victim mindset that is so prevalent nowadays in our society. And it basically, if you think of yourself as a victim, you are putting a limiting ceiling on your spiritual ascent, right? Like how high you can ascend, how much you believe in yourself, and how much you can accomplish. Um, when you become a victim, you give away all your power to something outside of yourself, right? Um, because I was thinking about, we had Easter Sunday, and I was thinking about Jesus Christ and how he went on the cross and his life in a way it teaches us something, right? It teaches us that the world is going to be hard. The world, no matter how good and benevolent you are, how much you want to impress everyone or be a perfect person, that's just not going to happen. Like the world is going to throw stuff at you, random stuff is going to happen. It's never going to be perfect. And because Jesus was perfect, in the sense he was perfect, and he still had to go through all this ridicule, and he had to die on the cross for us, be basically tortured, you know and he's at the end of the day he still loved us, which is just so beautiful. And he never let that victim mindset. He was never a victim, right? It shows us something. It shows us that although we are in the world, we are also can be out of the world. And what I mean by that is, although stuff is happening in the world that brings us down, and we're like, why the f am I going through this? This is just ridiculous. It's just thing after thing after thing. um, it's showing us that we have the ability to transcend this material reality, the matrix. We have the ability to ascend into the spiritual, where nothing can touch us, where we are free from everything. We are free to be ourselves, to be authentic. And that is the highest expression of love, is to be yourself. And through that love, you're connecting to God, connecting to the divine, your spiritual guides, your angels, You're just being yourself the way you were created to be. And, the thing about the victim mindset is if you're always, woe is me, and you have this attitude like the world is out to get you and the world is evil and corrupt, and while that may be true, your your thoughts and your perceptions will shape your reality. So if you are going to be a victim and you're not going to try to change, well, the world isn't going to change for you. And so bad things will continue to happen. You know, like Christ, he shows us to break out of our mind, right? It's like a sense he dies on the cross. It's like our mind, our thoughts getting the better of us, dying, and he dies on the cross, and then later he rises and transcends reality, right? It's like by living from your spirit, from your authenticity, which is your soul, you have this place within you that the world cannot touch. It never changes. Like no matter what happens to you, you are always that authentic soul, that spirit inside of you never gets touched by the world. And it shows us that, you know, everything that happens, everything that happens to us, the challenges we face, the things we go through, it is not it is not because God hates us or the universe hates us, whatever you want to call it, source hates us. It's because we came down here to learn. It is for our spiritual growth, for our soul to learn and evolve. And the greatest teacher for learning is pain. It is suffering, you know, because that's when you get broken down into, your most vulnerable, just like all the barriers get broken down. You're just like, I can't do this anymore. And there's a sense of surrender, right? A surrender to life, surrender to God, surrender. And when you're in the victim mindset and you're placing all um, you're basically projecting your what you refuse to face within yourself, you're projecting it out into the world and blaming the world or blaming other people. When in reality, you need to go within yourself. And what God, the universe, is trying to show you is that there is something within you that needs to be examined. It needs to be changed. It needs to be looked at. It's something that is begging for your attention. And so through this pain, we see these things within ourselves, you know? We start to look within, right? We start to connect to God and the angels, the divine. We start to look within ourselves. That gives us the power to look within our soul, you know? And because God is within us, we are able to observe ourselves from a zoomed out perspective through our awareness, the observer effect, right? We can look within ourselves and ask ourselves, what is this trying to show me? What is this trying to teach me? What do I need to change? Why is this happening? Is it because of this or that? And you start asking yourself questions. And this is examining your subconscious. This is how you look into your subconscious. You use the mirror principle, right? As within, so without. So you use the mirror principle, which is basically that your inner reality is going to be reflected to you in your outer reality. So if you have a challenge with something, with someone, say someone triggers you by saying something, well, you may ask yourself, why does that trigger me? Because the outside is showing you something within yourself that you can, it's basically like a tool you can use to look within your subconscious. And why does this bother me so much? Why am I getting triggered? Why am I angry? Why am I upset? And you can look within yourself. And by doing that, you're getting rid of this victim mindset, which just keeps you stuck in place. It does nothing for you, Trust me, I know. I was like that. I spent a lot of my life just in agony because I refused to go within myself and actually, you know, honestly look at myself. And once you start doing that work, what happens is you're healing the trauma within your soul. And through healing that trauma, you're letting more light in, you're letting God in, you're letting love in, you're letting acceptance, you're accepting parts of yourself, right? You're no longer resisting or fighting against yourself, right? And by doing this, you start to accept more parts of yourself. You start to become more whole. You start to see yourself as wholeness. There's nothing wrong with you. You just need to accept yourself because there's this war that we fight within ourselves. We try to resist, we try to push ourselves away, we try not to look at things, because we all have this trauma and these hard things have happened to us and things we don't want to face because it's scary. And, you know, so we push it away, push it onto other people, we project it outward. And, it's all within. The world can only love you as much as you love yourself, right? If you think if you think badly about yourself, well, that's just going to be reflected back to you because you don't respect and love yourself. So people are going to walk all over you, right? They're going to take advantage of you. That's just what happens because this a lot of the world hasn't looked. That's the issue. A lot of the issue with the world right now is they're living from their shadows. They're living from their ego. They haven't transcended to their soul, living from the soul, because they're stuck in the matrix, the material world, the way the matrix tells everyone to be and to think and to act. And, you know, I don't it's not like I'm blaming anyone, but it's they're all running from their subconscious, right? They haven't looked at it. And so they're just they just act. It's a reactive state where you're not really thinking, you just kind of do, right? So if someone made you angry, you would yell back at them, right, without taking a pause and then using your awareness to examine and just wait and not react. But when you have your subconscious and you haven't healed these parts of you, you push it back onto other people, and then you say, "Oh, this person's blah 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 blah," and you project that which was triggered within yourself onto them, and you blame them instead of looking within yourself and not reacting to what the outer world is trying to show you within, right? So yeah, that's what I've been thinking about. Um, it's just it's a journey. We come into this life, we lose our sense of being, which we are divine creations of God. We are souls having a human experience. We are here to learn and to grow, to experience this duality of life. And, we're here to spread love and light. And I think a lot of people are just lost right now and they're unable to see, they haven't awoken to this. And so this is why I'm putting out this video, to help spread awareness that we we basically, by living from these shadows, from these wounds, by letting these spirits take over us, these principalities, we are, by living from our ego, we are taking our pain, and by not examining it, not doing the shadow work, not looking within, it gets projected into the matrix, right? And the matrix will reflect that back to us. So the way the world is right now is a direct reflection of the subconscious, the collective subconscious of everyone that is here in this reality. It's we all share, since we are all connected to God, we all share um, the same. I guess you could call it Christ consciousness. We all are connected to Source, connected to God, whatever you want to call it. We all share the same sense of consciousness, And we can, by the collective refusing to acknowledge these things, it spreads. And what needs to happen is people need to realize and wake up that it's each of us have a part in this. And, it's not like I'm blaming anyone, but the Matrix and the evil people that run it don't want us to see this, that we actually have all the power. They have no power over us. It is an illusion that they have power over us. They have no power over us. The only person that has power over us is ourselves, connection to God, the divine, right? God is number one. Should always place God above everything else because he is God is everything. Is all of creation, right? God is love too. And it is through getting rid of these shadows. And you can, like, there's all different perceptions of reality, right? You can call them shadows, spirits, principalities, demons, and they could all be true. But underneath that all is the the message of not uh what am I trying to say? There's the message of not letting our subconscious, our ego, rule our lives, so we keep spreading it outward to other people, right? Because the way our souls actually are that we have forgotten is we are unconditional love, we are kindness, we are joy, we are not judgmental, we don't project, we don't judge. That is who we are because we are made in the image of God, right? And that is what God is. And we've just been conditioned through our thoughts and through the way we grew up, through our trauma that has blinded us to see these things within ourselves, right? It's all, it's just so much density, so much, just this world, this reality is hard, right? It's a hard thing to overcome, but it is possible to transcend out of these lower states of consciousness, these lower victim mentalities, these lower states of, you know, not seeing, not perceiving reality, or actually perceiving reality in the sense that the world is evil, the world is out to get you, uh, people suck. If you're saying that to yourself, you're going to manifest that into your reality. Like, it's also another thing is when you are, if you're reactive and you spread negativity out and you make someone feel bad, you do something bad to someone as revenge or whatever, you're also reaping negative karma for yourself. And it is a game of also burning off this karma. You want to get in a state where you don't have any karma, where you can just be non reactive, you can be yourself, you can take the higher path, you can spread love and positivity, and that's how you, because if you're doing all these, if you're doing negative things to other people, it's going to come back to you as karma. Um, because trust me, I know I've had these people that, they basically like a coven, a coven, they cast these spells on me, and God lets me know about it, and then it returns back to them because what you send out will come back to you, what you put out. And so they're sending this negative energy, these spells, these death magic, all these sorts of messed up things at me. They're sending it to me. But since I've done the inner work, I'm on such a high state of vibration and consciousness that God and the divine, my ancestors, my spirit guides, they all protect me. And I'm so grateful for that, but they protect me. And it ends up going back to them. And then they say, they project on me, they say, I'm the evil one. I'm doing all this evil stuff, right? And that's coming from their shadow. It's like, see what I'm saying? They project it back outward instead of facing within themselves. They need to, be like, hey, what am I doing? I need to change. I need to do something different, right? And that's the problem a lot of people have is they just, they won't acknowledge within themselves that they have a responsibility in the whole situation. It's not just always other people. Other people can be a-holes, but it depends on your reaction. And when you when you tap into um awareness, right? Being aware, being in the present moment, you will notice that you will react less. Reacting still happens. I still do it. I'll get pissed off or whatever. But it's that noticing. You can finally notice and take a step back. Even if it happens and you react, think about it later. Like, why did that happen? And this awareness, living in the present moment, allows you to be your authentic self, which is the truest expression of you. It is who God created you to be. And it is through these shadows, these trauma, these thought loops, these hidden emotions, these subconscious beliefs that we cloud our vision. We put these like barriers around our soul, right? Or it's like putting smudges on a mirror, right? We can't see correctly. We can't see ourselves correctly. And so through doing the shadow work and, just learning to love yourself, accept your past and things that happened to you, you slowly start to come back into wholeness and who you truly are, right? You get rid of all this stuff. And that's basically what it that's basically what it boils down to, is knowing there's nothing wrong with you, right? You are whole and complete, but you need to get rid of these thoughts and these beliefs we have about ourselves that make us like question ourselves or talk badly about ourselves, all these things that, we say to ourselves and stuff like that, our beliefs. We're slowly getting rid of them all, and we come back to just being authentic and being ourselves, right? And when we're ourselves, we are connected to God and the divine through authenticity, through love. And through that, we learn to try to rise above the chaos that is in this world and to spread that love, spread that wisdom that we learned through our pain, right? Our past is a teacher to us, a teacher to our soul. We wouldn't learn unless we went through these hard things. And through going through these hard things, we learned wisdom. And, it's about seeing your past and seeing the challenges that we go through. If you shift your perspective to look at them as, what is this trying to teach me? You know, what what can I learn from this? How can my soul grow from this? How can I grow from this? It's about a shift it's a mind shift into looking at it differently. And through that, that is how you alchemize all this stuff into wisdom, into love, into acceptance of yourself, love for yourself, love for others. And through doing that, then you you know, you rise above the matrix, this material plane, and you're connected to your soul, your spirit, your higher self, because as above, so below, right? So when you connect, when you're in alignment through authenticity, you're in alignment with your highest self. You're in alignment with God and the divine, and through that, you can follow your journey, right? Each of us has our own journey, our own purpose, what we're here to do. And through following that, you you get the greatest satisfaction that you could have, and you're blessed. God will bless you. You will receive the life that you wanted before you came into this world, right? You have a plan set before you. You have your life, since God is existing outside of time. Time is a construct, right? Time is a construct. God exists outside of time, right? Time doesn't behave the way we think. And so God, He will bless you and guide you and fulfill you. You will have happiness and joy, all your heart's desires, your dreams, they will come true. But the only way it can happen is if you tap into being authentic and getting rid of and alchemizing all this stuff within you and transcending and aligning. And then, you got to overcome your fear, which is something I'm trying to do right now. It's hard to it's hard to step into the unknown. It's hard to know exactly what you're supposed to do, but you just have to just you can't get stuck in your mind. You can't think about it too much. You just have to be authentic, and through being authentic, you are living in the now moment, right? Because now is the only there's no future or past. There's only now, right? There's now, but we use past as a way to um, kind of look at like kind of like a story for ourselves. Our past is kind of like a story we look at for ourselves, and that's how we learn and stuff. But there is only the present moment, and so we just have to align and trust that things are going to work out. And I've been going through a hard time right now. I've been kind of not really feeling motivated, kind of annoyed, kind of sad, going through all these emotions that are coming up from my past. I've been trying to alchemize, um, but it's like life isn't always going to be sunshine and rainbows, right? I mean, I wish it was, but that's not always going to be the case. The world is chaotic, right? It's because there's all these different variables that go into it, and it's just more about learning to overcome the challenges and see the challenges as something to learn from, something to grow. And you don't have to know how to do everything perfectly. Um, like I found that life is like a spiral. It will spiral back to you over and over. The same until you learn the lesson, right? It's gonna keep coming back to you because I've I've dealt with that. I've been a little hard headed. I didn't understand. And God kept putting the same lesson before me, testing me to see what I would do. And until I learned that lesson, it just keeps repeating in your life. But there's kind of like freedom in that too, because like there is no pressure, right? We all we're not going to know the answers all the time, right? Like a problem come up, we could learn a little bit and then be like, time could pass and the problem comes back. But with our new wisdom, we can look at it differently and then face it a different way and then perhaps overcome it. It's like there's no pressure because everything is working out in divine timing. And that's not just like saying that to say that. It's the truth. Like everything works out as it should. Like you are exactly where you need to be at every moment because your path has been laid before you. You were just reliving through it has probably already happened and you're just reliving through, you know, the journey. And so like yeah, it's been something I've been trying to do is like not put a lot of pressure on myself and not be like, "Oh, why don't you get this blah blah blah," like why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And putting this pressure, which is being stuck in your mind, it's being stuck in your thoughts, your thought loops. And you just kind of have to be in the present moment and trying to go with the flow, right? Just be yourself. Just be. Be in this world. Um, love yourself. Be kind to yourself. You know, think positive thoughts because also what you think in your mind will manifest in your reality. So try to be careful of what you think and what you say because what you say as well. It's like your intentions and what you're putting out into reality. Just try to be positive and loving and kind and non-judgmental. Try not to project your stuff onto other people. If you run into someone and you're just like, oh God, this person, then you set your boundaries. Set your boundaries and just basically tell them no, and that's that. And there's ways to deal with these things, but we don't need to get lost in the world and get lost in the chaos because once we do that, it's like there's no captain of the ship, right? We're just crashing into walls. Everything's chaotic, and it's about like you know breathing, take a step back, relax, you know. It's okay to feel these things. It's okay to feel sad. Just don't get caught in the mindset of being a victim and you know, you'll overcome it when the timing is right for you. But just have hope and faith in yourself and in God that things will work out the way they should, you know? But yeah, that's about it. I thought I'd make a video. I'm going to get a haircut in a few days, or Wednesday, I think. So that should be interesting. My hair has been getting super long. I just got out of the shower. This is the longest my hair's ever been. Look at this. So I'm gonna get a haircut, you know, something new, a fresh start. Um, yeah, I just been kind of tired, not really inspired, but that's okay, right? I don't need to be hard on myself. It's easy to be hard on yourself, be like, oh, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? But you know, you just have to be kind to yourself. Like sometimes you just need rest. You need time to recharge, relax, you know, try not to get swept up in everything. But yeah, that's about it. I hope this helped. I hope you are having a blessed day or night whenever you see this. Blessings to you. And until the next time, peace out.